Hello and welcome, friends. How are you? Here we are for Angel Oracle for the Spiritual CEO for the month of April. Now, I'm putting this out as Angel Oracle because it's quite new for me. I have had a very distinct change in the last month in regards to who in the spirit world I'm working with. And the angels have come in very strong and have certainly guided some new directions, and this is one of them. So, as much as the guidance that I'm offering here is actually through the lens of your spiritual business and creating success with that, I know that the information that does come through and has come through will also be totally relevant for you to apply in your life, whether it's your career zone, your relationships. Everything is all connected. So if you are watching this or watching the replay and you don't have a spiritual business, then I'm sure there'll be something that you can take away too. However, if you do have a spiritual business, then I am all about creating a revolution there and helping those of us with spiritual businesses to support you to actually create financial freedom and support. We need to see more of us psychics, mediums, and healers making some real money and being financially free, and businesses that support you to do that. Because I know that all of you will be coming from that space of wanting to serve and making a difference for others. So anyway, that's me. That's what my work is all about. But here we are with the Angel Oracle for the month of April. And so let's get into it. Let's get into a little bit about the energies for the month of April. Now, just to begin with, let's dive into it's where I always put these out on the full moon, coming into the full moon energy. It's the guidance that I receive to do that. I know that for me, my favorite moon of any month is the full moon. So that hence the reason why I'm bringing you this now is as we're coming into the full moon energy. So I know as we sit with that, this moon is really presenting. So it's full moon in Libra. I'm no astrologer, but I just know how things feel and the inspiration that is there. So, and what has come up is it's presenting as an opportunity for healing. And what you'll find is that we have, during the month of March, up-leveled in some way. Many of you would have experienced a shift. You would have seen some endings. You would have seen new opportunities. There would have been a new vibration coming in for you in the month of March. And then as we settle into that, it's quite natural then for fear and doubt to creep in. And this is where we are at right now. So this is what the full moon is highlighting. It's bringing that in for you. It's sort of pushing your buttons a little bit. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you want to withdraw, if you feel that you are doubting yourself and not being the fullest expression of who you are and you're holding yourself back, then please know, firstly, that it's a natural response. Part of the process is that as we've just up-leveled over the course of the last month, then as we settle in and acclimatise to that new vibration, a new set of circumstances, then there will be fear and doubt. It's only human that's how we operate. What the question then begs is what you do with it and how long you choose to sit in it. So how long you choose to sit in that fear and doubt and what you do with it. And this is where the full moon's bringing it all to the surface. And I really suggest and recommend that you give yourself some time to sit with those emotions, to connect with them, to see what's below the surface, and open the door to sort of see what needs to be let go of, what needs to be released, what needs to be healed. I guess right now, over the course between now and the next 24 hours, and even into sort of Thursday morning, what I would suggest is the worst thing that you can do for yourself is to actually just keep being busy and not giving yourself any time to sit and connect and feel in that space. So be kind to yourself, do it have a bath and connect in the stillness in the bath if you need to. But please take the time to give yourself that. That is the first energies for the April full moon, which is where we are at right now, coming into right now. So as we move into the energies for April, you will find that boundaries are becoming important for you. Again, I feel like this flows on from the fact that we've had the up level from the month before. And you will feel that when we move into a new vibration, a new energy, a new space, a new set of circumstances, you will find then that to really solidify that, generally we need to find our boundaries because we're working out how does it work for us? What do we need to do to make that new vibration and that new experience? What do we need to do so that we can be comfortable, so that we can settle into it? And this is where you'll find that boundaries coming into play throughout the month of April. Now, firstly, I think when we talk about boundaries, they are definitely a big part of the self-love journey. What I would say, though, in this instance is sometimes, and a lot of times this month, those boundaries are going to be self-applied boundaries. So applying boundaries with yourself and your relationship with the universe in some way. So maybe it's time you need to put your foot down and say enough is enough, and I'm not accepting that anymore. And universe, get your shit together because it's time for us to make some waves, and I'm no longer accepting how I manifest in the past because I want to create change. So maybe you've got to draw a line in the sand there. Maybe you've got to draw a line in the sand in your relationship in some way. Yeah, whether it's your personal relationship or relationship with colleagues, relationships with family members, family dynamics. Maybe there's some boundaries that need to be applied there to create balance for yourself. Even I'm just sort of getting even with your health. There's probably some boundaries coming in that need to be applied in that area of people's lives. So maybe it's that boundary of making a commitment to regular exercise and changing that lifestyle that you know you really need to change. I'm sort of hearing that, thinking that could apply to me. So just definitely their boundaries will come into play throughout the month. And certainly when it comes to boundaries, sometimes it might be the fact that you need boundaries around money, so let's talk a little bit about, as we move into, how do we align with money for this month? Well, I actually see the money flow for the course of the month fluctuating, and what I would suggest is taking the time at the beginning of the month, even now under the energy of the full moon, to let the universe know your money requirements for the month. It's like, you know, break it down, think about it. How much do you need to bring in for this month in your business? And what does that look like? So not just to cover your expenses, but how much you need to earn, and and don't limit it there. Be open to the fact that you want extra, um, and then break it down into how can you achieve that. And that is something then that you can benchmark and check in with every day to make sure you're in alignment with that goal. There are plenty of new ideas being seeded, and those new ideas that you are working on, you will see fruition of those in 3 months' time. What I would suggest is that you are, once you're sitting with that guidance and bringing those inspirations in and those ideas in, that you actually question them. And I'm not saying question them from a space of doubt, but question them to harness more information, to get more information, and be sure to sit with them, is the feeling that I'm getting right now, is to sit with them and nurture them. I know over the years I've had a tendency to, if I get an idea, I want to run with it straight away. And what I would say is, one of the things that I've learnt is to actually sit with that idea and let the seeds keep popping, let the idea keep germinating, because how it needs to be in the world will shift and change a little bit if you sit with that from an intuitive place. So know that those new ideas that are coming in now and throughout the course of April are going to align you with more money, but it's also a space of being in relationship with money where we need to ask. You need to ask. Set the tone and ask in regards to exactly what it is you need. So cover off your expenses, cover off your play money, cover off your extras. Let the universe know exactly what needs to be delivered, and then question yourself and question the universe, question your angels in regards to, okay, what do we need to do to achieve this? And you'll start seeing those ideas popping. So that's where aligning with money coming is this month. Let's talk about how we deepen your purpose this month. And I must admit, for me, everything is all about purpose. So, and our spiritual businesses do sit on top of our purpose. It's like our purpose first and then our spiritual business here. Our divine purpose is a foundation, so it's always important to cover this off. So how do we deepen our purpose this month, in the month of April? Is when I was writing through, I was actually seeing, the angels were showing me that a lot of people will draw oracle cards regularly. They'll draw an oracle card. Let's say, I got some of my cards here right now. So they'll draw an oracle card. I've just got the wizard sitting out on top here, and then they'll go, great. And then in the next breath or the next day, they're actually doubting what's being said. you know, redrawing another one on exactly the same sort of situation. And what they were sharing with me is it's actually time to put the oracle cards away for a little bit, for a time. It's time to just put them down if that's you, and lean more into your desires, is what they said. Lean more into listening to your heart and actually what it is that you want, and listening to that. And for some of us, that takes a little bit of work, because it actually is about giving us ourselves permission to do that, and ourselves permission to, you know, it's okay that I want what I want, that I, you know, um, might want a full-time spiritual business, or that I, you know, want to be selfish enough to be a published author, and make lots of money, and that I want to, be in a business that supports me and where I get to have holidays a couple of times a year. You know, it's okay to, um, give yourself that sort of permission. It's okay to dream big and give yourself that permission to dream that big. So, start listening and start talking to the universe about putting your wants and your desires into your vision, not just necessarily what you think spirit, um, thinks you should do. Because I can tell you from experience, you get to a point where they're asking of you what it is that you want. So, and right now they're in that space of wanting you to lean into that. So, so deepening your purpose comes from that space this month, is that you have your purpose, and, if you know what that is, great. If you don't, reach out and we can do work together to unfold that a little bit for you. Um, but bring to that your desires and what you want, so that there's this marriage between your purpose and how you want to approach it, because that's what works for you. So that's where the deepening of your divine purpose lies this month. Continuing on, in the month of April, where does opportunity lie for us when it comes to our spiritual businesses? And hang on, just let me see my notes. Where does opportunity lies? This month, opportunity lies within. It's an opportunity for healing this month, in the month of April. And it's an opportunity to heal and diminish how much you self-sabotage, because we all do it. So, this month presents an opportunity for us to break some of that down. So, that's where your opportunity lies. So look out for it. And I certainly would say that right now, be aware of how you would be diminishing yourself. Be aware of how you are holding yourself back, because remember I said that this April full moon, which is the energies now, is really pushing those buttons. So this is where, opportunity is about right now for you. So look out. Where are we likely to get in our own way? Excuse me. And it's definitely talking yourself out of it, talking yourself out of putting that foot forward, talking yourself out of putting yourself out there. So make that post and get real with it. You know, start that podcast, whatever it might be. Pull yourself forward into more visibility. Act on that idea that's been germinating and you keep pulling yourself back from. This is where you're going to get in your own way this month. It all links when you think about it. It links to where the opportunity lies. It links to the full moon energy. So, and remember, as I said, we have just had a month where we have up-leveled. We have had circumstances change, we have new vibration and we are settling in, which is prompting some fear. So be aware that the fear is around, be aware that it's happening, be aware that it's a natural process. It is okay, it is part of the process, part of the journey. It's how long you sit in it, how long you stay in it, where you what you do with it is where you become empowered and be the master of your own momentum, I guess. So where you are going to likely get in your own way is holding yourself back, is yourself sabotaging and talking yourself out of the stuff that you know you need to do. I was working with a client today who's quite a successful real estate agent, and she knows very well where she holds herself back. She has a lot of self-awareness around that, which is great. I guess for her, it could be, a couple of weeks before she realizes she's in that space. So keep the awareness going as we go. Check in with yourself each morning with how you're feeling and pay attention to that self-talk. I know for myself, last week I was getting hammered by the angels to create and manifest with the angels coloring book. It's an idea I'd had for quite a while, and it's also something to me that feels like, oh my God, this is going to be such a simple tool, an enjoyable tool for people to work with. And it was on the list, right? So I just put it on the list. And then one day last week, it just completely just wouldn't leave my head. So I took a day and sat creating one. But it still got to that point where I felt like it wasn't as good as what I'd like it to be. It didn't look as good as what I'd like it to be. Even though I knew it could still do, the energy of it would still do what the intention was. And then that triggered me into sitting in less than energy and triggered me into, this is a repeating pattern type of thing for me where I will hold back on a project and putting something out into the world, even though I know it will make difference for people and it will be enjoyable and it will make manifesting with your angels a lot easier. But because it's not quite perfect, I then, I might still put it out in the world, but I'm putting it out in the world with less than energy attached to it. So I've taken the time as we've come into the full moon to really sit with all of this and to really go, okay, I've been sitting with that less than energy for 5-6 days now, maybe. And I guess I'm sort of sitting here today, drawing a line in the sand and saying, okay, full moon, you're showing me, you're reflecting. This is what it is. I'm questioning this a little more and diving in to see how I can be fully in acceptance of being perfectly imperfect and being fully okay with creating and doing the best that I can and being fully okay with that. And not letting that make me feel like less than, and therefore that's the energy I put out in the world. So I'm sort of sitting with that and working through that and checking in with myself every day against that so that I can self-correct as I go and not get too far down the track and go, oh, geez, I've been sitting in that energy for 2-3 weeks, because that will stifle the flow if I'm sitting in that less than energy. So I want to pull it up a lot quicker. So that's where we're at. So look out for that, and then you can self-correct too. And again, if that's something that you need help with or assistance with, then reach out, and I'm sure we can have a session, get together, and help you through it. So lastly, we have the April new moon, which will be around April 20th, 19th, 20th, depending on Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. It is new moon in Aries. And I guess the biggest thing that I sort of, when I was tapping in here around that energy, there was a real feeling of money leaks. So watch for money leaks at that time. Watch for money dispersing. And I have to say they are real money leaks. So if you're working with your boundaries throughout the month, then know that you'll be tested at that point. So start putting in those boundaries around money now, so that when we get to that point and there is that risk there, that you can hold up, that you can, be going, no, I'm not going to spend that money, or you'll have the money if there's something unexpected that's happened. But at the same time, it does feel like a need to pull yourself up from spending, and a need to prioritize where your money is going and choosing. And think about it, because money is energy. And so this is a real choice, as in, where are you prioritizing your energy? And that is the same choice and truth in regards to money as well. So, okay, so I think that's where we are at for the month. So, of course, I'm here, happy to take your questions, and I know Sam's got one, so let's look at that. Do the angels help with protection when doing a reading, or do you have to rely on spirit? No, the angels can certainly help, Sam. I guess it comes down to, I would want to question what form of protection you're asking for. Is it because you're asking for protection from a negative experience of some sort, or protection from the spirit world? Or is it protection from just the interplay of energies and not wanting to feel drained, and not wanting to, I guess, have your own energy be zapped? Because if it's the first, where you're asking to be protected from the spirit world and not wanting a negative experience, then firstly, I would like you to question where that fear is coming from. But second, if it's not wanting to feel drained, then certainly the angels can help with that. And one of the things that I do, Sam, is before I do any mediumship work, so before I run a class, before I run a group or anything like that, I always ask the angels to come in and stand in the four corners of the room that I'm working in. And I specifically ask for that, so for them to hold the energy, for them to, so that I'm not detrimentally affected. But then I also, that's really the only protection that I ask for. So the angels can help in that way. You can visualize angel wings embracing you in that way. There is I know that you are a Mediumship Society member. There is a video on energy protection in the module in the members portal. It's in the Mediumship Society section, and in there, in the module, it's called Mechanics of Mediumship. There is a video there on energy protection. So you can watch that. And there's the one following it is on energetic balance. So they're probably both relate, I would say. But certainly you can ask for that sort of protection. And the more that, what you'll find too, the more that you do it, because it's new and because the soul's getting used to doing it, it's like you become match fit, you know, like, so you'll eventually build a level of resistance is not the word, but your energy, it becomes known, and it becomes match fit is the only way that I can explain it. You know, it's like muscle memory type of thing. So your soul and your body get used to it, and you build up a level of resistance, acceptance to being drained. It sort of starts to balance out. But definitely with the empath in you, and if it becomes a big thing, that I would direct you to the empath activation course within the members module as well. Those will help. But yeah, certainly the angels will help with that for sure. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for being here, by the way. So we are at the end of the insights for Angel Oracle for the Spiritual CEO for the month of April. And I want to thank you all for being here, for listening. If you have any questions, if you watch the replay and you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm only too happy to answer. I wish you all a fabulous April. Please use these insights and this angel guidance to support you through, and enjoy the full moon energies.